I want to bring in a panel to help discuss this. Nadia Adwal's with us and Jillian Meltzer. Jillian, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, I'm a little bit concerned about how this is being implemented, and here's why. You look at Trump rolling out the immigration policy to begin with. There were U.S. translators that were caught up in that, delayed, put in limbo. You look at what's going on right now. The USA Today article that you sent us discussed a man who had converted from Islam to Christianity. His family has basically said that they would try to kill him. He's in Turkey right now, not necessarily a safer place for a Christian convert. I just think that it's such a false equivalency to say that we can either do what Germany's doing or do something really extreme. I think there's middle ground here to be compassionate and to let people into our country who truly need this opportunity and deserve it.
But you've observed this firsthand in Germany in the sort of unfiltered, unfeathered, just open-arm policy, and that's actually, in your mind, ruined or hurt Germany tremendously.
I think there's only one formula. If you cannot vet, you must reject. Everything else leads to chaos, and that's what we have seen. This middle-of-the-road thinking, Germany also thought they had it somehow figured out. They did not expect what happened there. And now we see just the latest news, hundreds of Taliban fighters posed as refugees. You cannot really find a perfect vetting system. It's extremely tough to do that. So it's almost naive to believe that you kind of read their minds. But this tough questioning definitely will get these people into a situation where a little bit more of themselves comes forward. We can maybe get a dialogue. We can get a little bit of a feel for it. And it is all you can do. And still, that is not perfect. But we cannot let happen what happens in Europe, not even in Germany. Look at all across Europe. Now suddenly we have cities that used to be safety cities being capitals of rapes. Rape capital city Malmö. I mean, those used to be the safest cities in the world.
That's such an extreme example. That's such an extreme example. And I do want a thorough vetting process. I think before we had 2-year vetting process, which was decent. I think we're setting this up, though, as a choice between absolute safety and no refugees and all refugees and no safety. I think that's a really disingenuous
So you're saying we should
way to
accept a certain amount of danger with this?
No, I'm saying that there is risk inherent in it, but I think that's a risk worth taking. And I think we mitigate that risk by engaging communities, getting the church to be involved in this, like in Canada where you can sponsor refugees, and encouraging assimilation by engaging in the community. This is not just a government problem.
Zuhdi, go ahead, I'm sorry.
And I was just going to say that, you know, if we're going to thread this needle correctly, it's appropriate to talk about extreme vetting, but what are they doing? The same State Department that was not only not allowing, not having a filter against Islamists, was basically being led by a Muslim Brotherhood sympathy, if you will, across Egypt and elsewhere, is still the same staff doing that. So I'd like the Trump administration to begin to engage reformist Muslims, our Muslim reform movement, to talk about that Commission on Radical Islam that the President talked about in the campaign. They need to start implementing that really quickly if this pause is going to be effective. Otherwise, we're just going to pause and then keep allowing the Islamists in. I want to see us vet against the Islamists, but then have America be what it's always been leading the world in, which is being that beacon for those who want to be free and away from oppression and persecution, which we've really not been.
All right, guys, thank you all very, very